Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Joanna Butler, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Major Simon Staton. We are honoured to acknowledge Lieutenant General Kazumasa Ueda, Deputy Chief of Ground Staff, Japanese Ground Self-Defence Force, accompanied by Major General Chris Smith, Deputy Chief of Army, and Rear Admiral Sandeep Singh Sandhu, NM Senior Directing Staff Navy, Indian National Defence College, India, and the accompanying delegation. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial and students on behalf of St Paul's Primary School visiting from Gateshead, New South Wales. If you are able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Students, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones, buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Private William Keating. William Keating, known as Willie, was born at Northampton, Western Australia in 1891, one of 7 surviving children of James Edward Keating and Mary Ann Nee Brown. Willie Keating was raised in Geraldton and attended school locally. The young family suffered a blow in July 1899 when his father died from an acute kidney disease. Willie was only 8 at the time and his youngest sibling was only 3 weeks old. The people of Geraldton rallied to the family's aid and raised over £22 to assist them. By the time the First World War began, Keating was working as a horse driver. In late May 1915, Keating and 3 friends were charged with creating a disturbance after singing "It's a Long Way to Tipperary" and otherwise making a great noise during the early hours of a Sunday morning in Geraldton. The men all received fines and had to pay court costs. Standing a plucky 5 feet 3 inches tall, Keating enlisted for service in the Australian Imperial Force at Black Boy Hill on the 18th of July 1915. After initially training with No. 16 Depot Company, he was allotted to Charlie Company of the newly raised 32nd Australian Infantry Battalion. Keating embarked from Fremantle on the 24th of November 1915 aboard the transport ship Katuna, bound for Egypt. Several months of training in the Egyptian desert followed before the 32nd Battalion sailed for France in June 1916. The battalion arrived in France in June and was sent to Moorbeck in the nursery sector. The 32nd Battalion fought in its first major action at Fromelles on the 19th of July 1916. The battalion had been in the front line for less than 3 days when the attack was launched. The men of the 32nd Battalion advanced from their trenches at 5:53 in the afternoon and briefly gained their objectives in the German lines a little over half an hour later. Keating was killed in the German trenches during the night and his body could not be recovered by his comrades, while what was left of the battalion was forced to retreat by German counterattacks. The Battle of Fromelles will be Australia's worst 24 hours of battle. They suffered some 5,500 casualties, including nearly 2,000 dead. The 32nd Battalion lost 718 men, almost 90% of its fighting strength. Corporal David Veal later stated that I was told by Sergeant McDowell of Charlie Company that he had seen Keating killed in the German trenches at Fromelles about the 20th of July. 2 of his brothers, Private Tom Keating, serving with the 11th Battalion, and Private Jim Keating with the 16th Battalion, both wrote to the Red Cross in search of information about their brother, but little was forthcoming. A court of inquiry held in August 1917 found that Keating had been killed in action at Fromelles. He was 24 years old. Keating's body was likely recovered by the Germans and buried in a mass grave at Pheasant Wood. Following the war, he was commemorated on the VC Corner Australian Cemetery Memorial at Fromelles. In 2008, a burial site was located at Pheasant Wood, which contained the bodies of 250 Australian and British soldiers. Sadly, Keating's remains are yet to be identified. The war continued to hit the Keating family hard. In October 1917, Private Thomas Keating was killed in action in Belgium, aged 20. Private Jim Keating, who had been awarded a military medal in 1917, returned home in May 1918 as he was the sole financial support for his mother and an infant niece. General William Birdwood had approved his request. Willie Keating's name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right amongst almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private William Keating, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere, or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today. We wish you all a very pleasant evening.